welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'm going to be repotting my hibiscus plant here. This is the Hibiscus Rosa Sinensis, and I'll also be giving you an update on how it's been doing over the winter and what I'll be doing to prepare it for summer so I can get some nice flowers again. So I had this last year. I bought it about midsummer. It flowered for me really well. I'll just show you a quick clip now of a time lapse so you can see how nice the flowers looked. So as you can see, the flowers didn't last very long, but there were several flowers coming, so it was almost constant flowers all summer long. But I've had it in winter, dormancy phase for the last few months. I've had it in a colder location in my flat, about 12 degrees, just to keep it dormant really. It hasn't really put on any growth whatsoever over winter, it's just kind of sat there doing nothing. And the reason I did that is because if I kept it warm over winter, the sunlight's very low here in Scotland, it would try and grow, it would probably get very leggy and that would weaken the plant. So with growing it in a cold condition, it's kept it dormant, and you can see it stayed nice and compact, hasn't put on any growth over winter. What I will do is, there's a few loose yellow leaves and old leaves that have died off during the dormancy period. I'm just going to pull them off if they're loose, just to tidy up the appearance of the plant and also allow a bit more light to come in. There's also a lower stem here which has died off, so I'll give that a cut. The lower stem probably died off because the lower light levels over the winter period, so I'm just going to cut that one off there as it's not doing anything anyway. I'm not actually going to prune it this year, and the reason for that is it's quite a small plant anyway, and I would like it a little bit larger. I do want to keep my plant quite small because I won't have space for a large plant in my flat, but at the same time it's a very small plant at the moment, and it would be nice to have it slightly larger so I can hopefully have some more flowers on it this year. And it definitely needs repotting. I do normally repot my plants as soon as I get them from a garden centre. However, I kept this one in the small pot as I was just a bit busy last summer. But as I say, I'll be repotting it now to give it the best chance for this year coming. So that seems to be most of the leaves taken off. There's a yellow one here, but it's still turning yellow. It's still got some green. So I'll let the plant pull in some of the nutrients from that before I cut it off. But otherwise, it's still looking relatively healthy. It's got some nice dark green glossy foliage. It's not looking too bad considering it's just about to come out of dormancy. Often a lot of my plants, when they've gone through a winter, they do look quite sickly. So I'll just take off the cover because there is just a cover on here. You can see on the pot, and I can use this pot for something else. That cover is just basically for retail purposes when they're selling the plant. So there we are, that's the size of the pot, and I'm going up to this one which is about 2 or 3 times the size. If I have a look at the root system, it's a little bit pot bound at the bottom, but generally it's not too bad. You can see it's been put in a peat-based compost with a lot of perlite for extra drainage, and they do like it quite well drained. But they also like a soil which has a bit of loam in it, or a bit of soil. So what I've done is I've made up a mix, about half loam, maybe just a bit over half loam. The rest of it is perlite and multi-purpose compost, so that should be quite a nice rich mix for it. It's John Innes number 3 I've used for the loam. It's quite a strong compost, has quite a lot of feed in it already. So checking there, I just need to reduce the height of that very slightly, so I'll just take a bit of the excess compost out. Check that again, it seems about the right height. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to carefully pour in the soil from the sides. It's going to be a little bit tricky because this pot isn't a lot bigger than the last one, so the space that I've got between the root ball and the new pot isn't great, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to get the compost in, but I'll do my best. So I'll just gently firm it down the sides, just to make sure there's no air spaces between the old root ball and the edge of the pot. That will just cause the roots to die off in that section because it'll be too dry. I don't want to push it down really hard because it's just like a free draining mix. And this compost will settle a little bit once I water it in, because it looks quite high at the moment, but it should settle down with a bit of watering. So that's it repotted. I'll give this, as I say, a good water. I won't need to give it a feed though, because there's quite a lot of feed already in this new compost. So I won't feed it for a few weeks, at least until the roots get established in the new compost. Once they are established, then I'll probably go into a high potassium feed. That will encourage nice flowers. So I'll give you guys an update in a few weeks. I'm going to put this in my warm living room where there's plenty of sunshine. That will really encourage it to put on some new growth, and there should be plenty of flowers coming. There is actually a few flower buds You can just about see some there. Those flower buds have just formed in the last few weeks, just as the weather's warmed up slightly, and the cool room that I've had them kept in has just warmed up to about 15, 16 degrees instead of the 12 degrees that it's been kept at over winter. So as I say, I'll give you the update in a few weeks, and hopefully I'll have some fantastic flowers on it.